Hello and welcome to this webinar. I'm Professor Patchke, and this webinar is Memory Mastery Part 2. In this workshop, you are going to discover how lifestyle factors such as sleep, nutrition, and stress management can boost your memory. We'll explore tailored techniques for all learning styles, and then we'll engage in some fun cognitive exercises to sharpen your brain and enhance long-term retention. Let's accept the students who are waiting in the waiting room, and then we'll get started. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you? It looks like we have some students that I've never met before. So this is wonderful. And students that I see on a weekly basis. This is great. Vanessa says, it's me. I'm glad you're here. Bridget, I know you're going to love this one, aren't you? That's why you're here, because it's all about the brain. All right. I'm going to let some more people join us. 6:02, I'll give them about 30 seconds to a minute. Got quite a few joining us. How is everyone?
I'm doing well.
Week 3
Good.
term. All right. Just getting everything set up. All right, so welcome to Memory Mastery Part 2. Was anyone here in Part 1 about 2 months ago when I did Part 1, and for some crazy reason, there were I don't know, over 90 people in that session. I mean, there was a lot of people. And I did not expect to have a part 2, but then when I put it in the chat, said, hey, should I do part 2? Unfortunately, the response was, yes, let's do it. So that's the reason we are doing part 2, but I'm excited because in this session, we will actually get to talk more about learning styles, okay? So this is Memory Mastery Part 2, okay? And let me let some more people in. But welcome. I'm glad you're here tonight, spending an hour of your time with me. Okay, we're going to explore some very exciting and practical ways to boost your memory by focusing on 3 key areas: your lifestyle factors, learning styles, and then we'll do, if we have enough time, we'll do some brain boosting exercises, okay? But memory is such a vital part of our daily lives. As you know, it helps us learn new things. It helps us perform well at work, school, in life, and it simply helps us navigate the world with confidence. Okay, we need our memory. Okay, the good news is there are very simple science-backed strategies that can actually help you sharpen your memory and keep your brain healthy. Okay, so we can remove age out of this, we can remove gender, we can remove any past educational experiences, okay? Your memory does not have to be fixed, okay? We can grow it, which is amazing. I love how God designed the brain, right? So first off, let's start with lifestyle because that is the foundation for our cognitive health, okay? Let me let some more people in and I will share my screen. All right. Hi, welcome. Glad you're here. To those who are just now joining us. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Judith.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Glad you're here. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Let's back up. I want to do a little word recall real quick. I want to see how good our recall is, okay? All right, I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Present. Come on, friend. Present. Come on. Okay. Let's do a little recall here, if it lets me go. Okay. Why is it going fast? Stop going through the whole slideshow. Okay. Stop. Okay. Word recall. On the next slide, I want you to memorize as many words as you possibly can. Okay. If you were in the first session of memory mastery, these are the same words. So if you have them written down somewhere, good for you. Okay. They are the same words, but I'm going to give you 30 seconds to memorize them. So let's just see how we do. Okay. 30 seconds to memorize the words. You're not writing these down. Okay. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing. All right. In the chat, write how many words you can remember. Let's see how you do.
Hello.
Hi, yes,
My
go
name is
ahead.
Yes, I am joining in by phone, so of course
I
I cannot
see.
see what you guys see.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. I do see the cell phone number is there. I was wondering who you might be.
Yeah.
As long as you
Thank
can
you.
listen in, that's great.
All right. Thank you much.
You're welcome. All right, in the chat, write how many words that you can remember.
Are we writing the words or just the number?
Either or. I see you said 5 to 7. Yep, that's great. How many words can you remember? And if you're confident enough, put the words in the chat. Sure. Lisa, I see you waiting. She's waiting there to see who's going to post. All right, I'll give everyone another minute or so. Well done so far. Love it. And it would be beneficial. Put the number 2. How many are you actually remembering? I see a lot of the similar words. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And some more people are joining us. So those who are just now joining us, we just did a word recall and we're just checking to see how many words we actually remembered. Okay. All right. Wonderful. So let's see. Looks like average. Average is, yeah, 7, 8. That's the average. All right, let me share my screen because I would like to show you something that actually it's science-backed, which is really cool. Okay. All right. The going back and forth can be annoying at times, but here is science-backed connection. So Miller's Law came out in 1956, and Miller's Law states that the average person can store 7 plus or minus the items in a short-term memory. So give or take. Okay. So roughly around 7 plus or minus. So anywhere between 5 and 9 is the average. And here's an example of what Miller's Law says. Okay. This study was done where they showed all these words and majority of the people could only remember these. So if you are in that range, 7 plus or minus 2, that is the average. Look at that. Science-backed research just says we're right. Isn't that amazing? It is actually extremely challenging to memorize more than that. And that's short-term memory. Okay. Welcome to those who are just now joining us. I'm also going to check the chat frequently because a lot of times you all put questions in there and I want to make sure I'm answering them as well. All right, so let's also review some mnemonic devices before we get into discussing lifestyle. Okay, does anyone know what a mnemonic device is? Does anyone know what that is? And if so, go ahead and unmute and share with the class here. A mnemonic device. No? Okay, let's talk about them. As I let some more people in, I might be doing this all evening. That's all right. Mnemonic devices, these are tools to help you remember things, okay? Using mnemonics, you can actually associate information that you want to remember, bits and pieces, with something that you already know. A song, a picture, a place, a smell, okay? So here's some mnemonic devices. Number one, this first one is a song. Rhythm. Our brain loves rhythm. It actually makes it easier for our brains to remember information. Here's an example. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I still use that to this day. It's not embarrassing. Sometimes my husband says, "You are so weird." You know what? It's a mnemonic. I use it all the time. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay? When I was in high school, for extra credit, I don't know why I did this, but I did. For extra credit, my math teacher said, if you can memorize pi, you know pi, the number, 3.14, okay? If you can memorize a majority of the number, I'll get extra credit. Yeah, I memorized 100 numbers, and I can still use it to this day. I sing it to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. 3.14159. Yep, and I keep going. All 100 numbers. Don't know why I need that, but I did. And I use that mnemonic device, and it's funny because now it actually benefits my long-term memory. Okay. That was a little side note about myself. Also, acrostics. So think about an acrostic, and acronym is next, but acrostic is using the first letter of the item on your list to make an entire sentence. So in math class, if you remember this, the teacher will typically say, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Okay. The first letter refers to something. Okay. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Then we have acronyms. Acronyms are used to remember a whole list of words. So if you can name the Great Lakes up near Michigan, the word that we typically use to remember is homes. Okay. Each of these letters stand for one of the Great Lakes. And then the last one, which I actually spent most of Memory Mastery Part 1 on, was talking about this method. Okay. This is when you can walk into a room, you can visually see it in your mind, or you can go to a place and you automatically smell something. That brings up an association. Okay. So just like we did in Part 1, if you were there, I had each of them walk through their home, and I had each of them place something in their home. Okay. Then at the end of the workshop, I said, what were the 3 things that you placed in your home? And they remembered all 3 things. Okay. They associate it with something that they're there every day of their life. Okay. So if I ask you, what do you do when you get home? Where do you put your keys? Each of you will tell me something different. It comes natural to you. So that's when we use this method here. So all of these are examples of mnemonic devices. There are many more, but these are the top ones that you can use. These are tools to help you remember things. Most of all for long-term memory. Short-term memory is a little bit different. Okay. Let me stop sharing. Yes, I just want to make sure I'm checking the chat too. My very educated mother. Yes. Was your mother extremely educated? To the person who put that, is that Sherelle? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
No, it's the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. And if I could remember the rest of them, I could name the rest of the planets.
Yeah. Yes, that's another prime example. Yes, of a mnemonic device. Wonderful. And I will also send that out too. So this workshop is being recorded. I'll send out the PowerPoint too, so you have that. Okay. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint and let's talk about lifestyle. Okay. Lifestyle is the foundation for cognitive well-being. Okay. Some of the things that I will discuss in tonight's workshop, it's common sense. Do we actually follow all these things? No. Okay. And that's the problem. Okay. If we actually tried some of these things, I can guarantee you our memory would increase. Okay. So number one is going to be sleep. I'm going to discuss sleep. Then I'm going to discuss nutrition and then stress management. Okay. So let's discuss sleep and memory, right? It is vital that you get enough sleep. Why? Because when we are sleeping, the brain is actually trying to recalculate and recall all of the information that it took in throughout the day. It's fascinating. If you ever do research on the brain is actually working extremely hard in the evening. It's trying to remember everything and it's putting all the pieces together. It's actually processing the information. Okay, that's why we need adequate and quality sleep. If you have chronic sleep deprivation, it will then impair your cognitive function and increase stress. Yes, I understand. There are people that battle insomnia. There are other people who say, I struggle with this aspect of sleep. Or maybe if you're at a certain age, you're constantly getting up in the middle of the night to use the restroom. Okay, this is part of life too, right? There are other factors that we can help our sleep. Reducing blue light at night. I can attest this. I'm right there with you. Right before bed typically is my scrolling time. I do my Sudoku. I do my crossword puzzle. I do my daily reflection in my journal. I do my roughly 8 to 10 minute prayer. And I thank the Lord for everything He's given me throughout the day. And I take my deep breath. I put on my red light. And then I do some scrolling. Typically, it's setting my alarm and prepping for the next day. All right. Yes, I do need to reduce blue light as well. So I'm with you on that. But on the flip side, okay, yes, it can increase stress, but it can also impair on your focus the next day if you don't get enough sleep. You all probably are well aware that if you don't get enough sleep, you're yawning the next day for a very long period of time. You're groggy. You might have mood swings. Okay. Then throughout the day, your blood sugar drops. In the afternoon, you're cranky. Okay. You know how this works. Okay. Sleep and memory are crucial. So prioritizing good sleep habits is going to be one of the best things that you can actually do for your memory. Okay. You are rejuvenating your brain, right? The next is, why does it scroll past on me? Come on. Go back. Okay. Nutrition. We talk about this. You've heard this probably your entire life. Nutrition, foods. This is a big one. And I don't know if people realize how important foods are. If you do much intentional reading of the Bible, especially around foods, health, supplements, all of that. Okay. The Bible clearly talks about sourdough bread over 300 times. It's actually fascinating. Sourdough bread. I've recently taken up baking sourdough bread. Why? Because even if you have celiac gluten disease, you can eat sourdough. Why? Because of the way it's fermented. It is one of the most natural breads that out there. Okay. Also, the Bible talks about frankincense. We use a lot of, I use frankincense on a daily basis. I diffuse it. I rub it certain areas on the scalp for headaches. I breathe it in. It is a powerful aid in relaxation. The Bible talks about using that. Okay. So nutrition is discussed throughout the Bible, which is also fascinating. But nutrition plays another powerful tool. Why? Okay, you need sleep, but you also need to fuel it. Okay, you need specific diet-rich foods, meaning the healthy omega-3 fatty acids, because this type of food does support cognitive function and memory. Okay, foods that have a ton of magnesium, meaning kale, spinach, Brazil nuts. Okay, these foods are rich in magnesium and they provide specific brain health that your body needs. Okay, any lean proteins is going to be great. Bible talks about fish all the time, right? The importance of it. Yes, I know I've met with students that say, I'm a vegetarian, I don't believe in that stuff. I encourage you just to think through some areas. The Bible talks about meat a lot and what it's used for. Okay, think through each food item and see if you can incorporate it in your diet. Okay, as you know, especially in today's society, everything is engulfed with GMOs, everything's processed. We are what I like to say a microwave society. Okay, we want things on the go, and that's microwave, done, done, done. Everything's in plastic. Okay, unfortunately, we have to be very careful and think through what it is actually doing to the body. Okay, so excess sugar, anything that reduces, anything that enhances inflammation, you want to remove. Okay, the more inflammation you have, more likely that your brain is not functioning as it should. All right. All right. Also, you know this, water. Yes, I know if you add a little bit of water and then a ton of coffee grounds, I wish that would count, but it doesn't. All right. But you need enough water. It needs this stuff. This is so cliche to talk about, but we don't actually follow it. And I can guarantee you if we did, we would see significant improvement, right? I'll stop there because I'm not your PCP and I'm not going to get into crazy stuff about healthy diet. I'm going to let you make that choice. Then let's talk about stress management. Okay, we know chronic stress harms our memory. What is stress? Okay, stress is usually caused by significant inflammation. It's also caused by something of an exterior factor. Something happened, we became stressed. Okay, we can do stress reduction techniques. Number one, pray. Number two, meditate. Meditate is not sitting there humming and thinking about the gods or however people want to put meditation. You're not crossing your legs. Meditation is actually focusing and breathing slowly on one aspect, meaning if you're out in nature and you hear birds, you are going to sit there and focus on those birds. Think about the noises that are being made. Running water has significant, it gives significant improvements to brain health and stress reduction. Okay. As you know, regular exercise, if you can, get outside, do something. Okay. We need to incorporate all these to reduce our stress. Okay. Again, the more stress we have, I can guarantee you the higher levels of cortisol we will have. If we have all that, it will then damage our memory center. It will hurt the hippocampus. It will then hurt our frontal lobe, which our frontal lobe is for decision making. Okay, it does play other aspects, but decision making is one of the most important ones that the frontal lobe does. All right. We want to have clear focus. We don't want to live with a foggy brain anymore. We want to have extremely clear focus. All right. If you can establish good routines, you go to sleep every night and wake up the same morning at the same time. That is going to be so beneficial for your well-being. Okay. All right. Let's move on. I want to talk about some tailored techniques for your 3 learners. Okay. Starting at the top left, we have visual. All right. Everyone learns differently. I should say that though. If you've ever met with me before and you've taken a learning assessment, I hope that was beneficial for you. If you would like to do so, I do give out learning assessments to see where you are at as an adult learner, okay? You need to understand what your learning style is because it can make a huge difference on how you effectively retain information. So up at the top, we have visual learners. Visual learners typically enjoy using dual coding, which is you'll combine words, you'll use images for stronger retention. You are also able to visualize, internally visualize concepts and processes to reinforce your memory, right? Visual learners typically will be able to view a PowerPoint and in their mind, they're actually processing everything. They can actually see the words as they're reading a PowerPoint, right? At the bottom is kinesthetic learners. This is all hands-on, okay? This is all physical activity, meaning you like to just dive right in and be part of everything. It's very hard to sit back and just listen for kinesthetic learners, okay? I put brain gym exercises. So brain gym, if you look that up, brain gym has a ton of exercises to actually enhance memory retention. Look that up. It's great for kinesthetic learners, okay? The exercises that they give also are shown to reduce anxiety and to improve your focus as well. Kinesthetic learners, they do love using gestures, role play, okay? Typically when they talk, they're like this, okay? They're everywhere, okay? It's a wonderful thing because they're actually just sharing what they're internalizing, all right? They are processing the information through that way. And then on the right, we have our auditory. That's all through just listening, okay? Your auditory, okay? You benefit from listening and speaking though. So you enjoy recording lectures, participating in discussions, listening to others, and then teaching others. How can you remember better? Okay? You do really enjoy mnemonics and rhyming. That's typically the auditory learners. All right. Those are your three. Yes, you can be a little bit of all of them. Typically, you will have one that you are very strong in. Then you can have a second one. Okay. So to recap, if you're a kinesthetic learner, you learn best by doing. Okay. Hands-on activities, movement-based learning, that's you. Okay. If you are a visual learner, okay, you do best by actually visualizing or being there to see what is happening. Meaning, if I turned off my camera and stopped sharing and I just started speaking about this topic, I would lose my visual learners, okay? And then auditory, you do best in groups and you do best explaining the concepts out loud to someone else. Typically you do best teaching the concept to someone else, okay? All right. It is time for our next activity. I thought that was coming up. All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds to memorize the numbers on your screen. Okay, you're going to memorize your numbers. Okay, use the full amount of seconds that I give you to memorize the numbers, and then we'll check to see how you do. Right? Are we ready? Okay. Okay. Write the numbers in the chat if you can. Okay. I'll keep letting you all write the numbers in. Great job. We're going to check and see. All right. All right, well done. It is fascinating if you look at all those who wrote the numbers, how they put the numbers in, how you wrote it down. Some of you already incorporated a chunking method. Okay, so let's share my screen again. And I want you to memorize the numbers again this way that I have on the screen. Okay. All right, write them in the chat. Right, great job. All right, go ahead and unmute. Which way was easier to remember the numbers? The first way with all of the numbers there, or the second way when you break them down and you use a chunking method, just like we do when we say our phone number. Okay.
The second way.
The
The
second one,
second way.
Jen?
The
Yeah.
chunking method.
Yeah, the chunking method. This is a common way to
Mm-hmm.
memorize numbers. You notice it. When someone asks you, hey, Lisa, what's your phone number? You're not going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're actually going to chunk it and
Yeah.
say, oh, 717, right? Or 215. Okay. We use chunking methods all the time. So think about the classes that you're in. If you have to memorize scripture, put it in a chunking method, break it down. Instead of using numbers, put them into phrases. Okay. Put the scripture, like you read it through a dependent clause. You memorize the dependent clause, then the next section. Okay. You can actually break it down and take your breath where need be. All right. You can incorporate this practice in a variety of different ways. It doesn't have to be just through numbers, though. All right. So let's jump into some cognitive exercises. Okay. I want to give you some practical tips. All right. The first one is active learning, right? I tell my students all the time, please do not be passive learners. Okay. We need active learning, meaning after class, some time after class throughout that day in the evening, go back, read through the assignment instructions. If you took notes on what your professor said, read through them. Practice, reflect, review. At the end of the week, maybe take a practice test, quiz yourself. You need to be able to strengthen your recall, all right? A second way to engage in active learning is to teach someone else. Maybe call a friend and say, hey, I have this topic of biblical hermeneutics and I'm going to teach it to you. And they're going to be like, no, please don't. You're going to say, yes, I'm going to teach it to you. Okay. If you are a psychology major, this is a great way to engage, is to teach other people pieces of the psychology that you're learning in your classes. Okay. If you are a biblical studies major, okay, call another friend up who's in ministry, call up another pastor and say, hey, I'm going to teach you something. And they're going to say, this is great. I'm excited. All right. It's a great way to engage in active learning. The next one is spaced repetition. This is done through reviewing or reflecting material at different intervals. We do this to boost long-term memory, not short-term memory. Short-term memory is you memorize on the spot. If I give you 10 numbers and I say memorize, okay, you're going to memorize them, all right? Spaced repetition is meant for long-term memory. And the third is lifestyle integration, meaning you should be combining different exercises into your healthy lifestyle. Okay. If you are integrating your balanced meals, you're getting optimal amount of sleep, you are engaging in active learning, you're reducing your stress, that's lifestyle integration. Okay. These are really fun ways to sharpen your brain. Lifestyle integration is actually one of the easiest ones. Half the time you don't even realize that you're integrating these areas. You don't realize that you're actually practicing memory recall. Okay, but this is one of them. All right. All right, let me stop sharing my screen so I can go to a next section here if it lets me. Any comments or questions so far?
Are you recording?
Oh, yes, I am. Yes.
Can we have the recording also, please?
Yes, of course, Judith.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, you're welcome. Okay. Let me talk about two things here. All right, I'm going to share my screen to a site and I'm going to post this in the email that I send out. Okay, this site has wonderful brain training apps and tools, right? I wanted to share this with you. So up the top, you have all of these options that you can click through. These are all free, okay? The one that I have currently clicked on is the brain health, and it goes through all of these areas, memory enhancement, okay? It gives you an example and it gives you certain exercises for that topic. So if you want to focus on memory enhancement, okay, you're going to click on this area and it will take you to some activities, all right? It then goes down to attention and focus. Okay, this is attention span and concentration, right? If you want to limit your distractions and increase productivity, you would want to do all the activities for this, okay? Then it goes into problem-solving skills, okay? If you have a job that requires making strategic decisions, you want to practice these. You want to boost your brain in this area. Number 4 is speed and processing, okay? I love the example that they give. A medical professional interpreting images needs rapid visual processing, okay? So what this person would do was he or she would click on speed and processing and do activities to help the brain in that area. Isn't that fascinating? It also keeps going. I'm just going to list the other ones. Language and communication. So, hey, any of my ESL learners here, or if you would like to learn a new language, you want language and communication. Okay, these are all language related exercises. Okay, emotional regulation, meaning if you're constantly stressed, you could benefit from mindfulness exercises because you are going to strengthen your neural pathways, okay, which are associated with emotional control. By doing this, you will actually notice an increase in daily performance and academic performance, okay? Motor skills and coordination. This is also really great if you have children, okay? Incorporating these brain training games, it does improve reaction time, balance, agility, okay? You want to incorporate hand-eye coordination. These are fine motor skills. Also great for kids, by the way. 8 is creativity and innovation. So if you have more of that artistic ability and you want creative thinking, these are the exercises for you. Looking at stress reduction and resilience. Okay, you want to focus on preventing burnout. Okay, again, a parent juggling work and a lot of family responsibilities can practice from these exercises here. Yes, I am all for that. Okay, and then the last one, number 10, is just in general lifelong learning. Okay, training your brain, helping with memory retention is not specific for any age group. It's actually valuable for everyone. Okay, I love continuous learning. That's why I said learning and training your brain is not fixed. Okay, at any age, we have the ability to learn, and I love that. Okay, overall, these are activities for you. I will post this link. I love that it's already categorized. So if you want to focus on something, that's there for you. Okay. I will send that your way. And the last section here, let's go over some key takeaways. Okay. All right, key takeaways for your beautiful brain. Okay. Small, consistent lifestyle changes. So that's better sleep, nutrition, stress management. They can significantly boost your memory and improve cognitive health. Okay. Please do not go to bed and tell yourself, tomorrow I'm going to change everything. Okay. Well, that is a major change. I wish you the best of luck. Please start small. Okay. Start with small changes. And here's the fun fact is it doesn't have to be these big, elaborate, like I'm going to go and throw away all this processed food in my home. No. Okay. No. Your body will probably go through you will probably have a lot of bowel movements, first of all, and you're going to have some issues changing your food like that. Start small. Keep it consistent. Okay. If there's one thing that you can do throughout your day, start with that. Okay. Number 2, tailoring your study techniques to your learning style is going to enhance retention and engagement. So we briefly looked at those 3 learning styles. If you would like to do a learning style assessment, reach out to me. I can give you that and we can look at your results as well, right? As you know, going to school at a young age until now, your study techniques have changed. The society has changed. Modern technology has changed, okay? You have to be tailoring your study techniques to your learning style. You have to, right? It's going to better your memory retention. And the last key takeaway is incorporate regular cognitive exercises, okay? You can keep your brain healthy, okay? You can. It's doable, okay? You see it all the time. People say, hey, what do you do? Oh, I've been outside for at least 1 hour every day, or I don't do this, or I incorporate this, okay? Use those cognitive exercises. If you want some more techniques, I can send you some, okay? I can share more with you what I do throughout my day or my evening, all right? As a side note, as a follow-up on this topic, memory retention, there is another podcast episode coming out. There are bits and pieces of the brain, but I know Vanessa just got very excited. But it's going to focus a lot on motivation and discipline and how it is associated with the way we think, okay? It's going to help with stress management as well. So that's a little side note, all right? Any questions or comments so far that you have? Or something that you've thought of throughout the webinar? Look at that. We kept it to 45 minutes. Wonderful.
Nice.
Isn't that great? So you still have time for dinner and assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think this is like kind of good practices we really need to stick to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
very good.
Are
Yes,
you struggling with that? Is the sleep part?
Yes, all of them.
All of them?
All of them are good.
Don't we all? Yes, we all do struggle with these things. I myself included. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you need anything else, Judith, you let me know, okay?
Yes, I surely will.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else before? Yes, I will send out the link to that page. I see it in the chat. I will send out the link for all those brain training techniques. Okay, they have all the exercises there for you. I'll also include the recording, the presentation. The presentation is also Mastery Part 1 and Part 2. So you have a bit of both. So you will see the science-backed research in the beginning of the PowerPoint, and then you'll see today's PowerPoint. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Question. I have
Yes.
a question. Since I'm online, no, I'm on my phone. So how would I be able to get the
So I will, can
pop?
you actually, what is your last name? I can send it to your, I'm gonna send it to your LBC email.
Okay, Hilton. Marie Hilton.
Oh,
Hilton.
hi, Marie.
Hi.
Hi. Your voice sounded
Hi.
different than this morning. Goodness.
Oh,
Okay.
it may be because of Landon.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad you're here, Marie. I will send it. You'll get it through your LBC email, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
All right, you're welcome. Anyone else? Comments, questions? Vanessa says no.
I think I've already broken my sleep pattern because from South Africa, this is like midnight.
Oh my goodness, that's right. You're in South Africa. Oh my
But
goodness.
I was very excited. This is my first time to attend this, so I'm really enjoying it. My question was not really a question. So I felt like when I was young, and I mean high school, I used to memorize or retain easily. Then now that one is growing, does
Yes.
somehow age has to do anything with
Yes.
retention or?
Yes, it does. So as we age, things in our body just start failing us, right? As we age, okay? Our eyesight, we become weaker. It's why it's really important that if you have the ability to maintain your muscle mass, okay? Because we get older, we get really weak, okay? Age does play a major part. As a child, it is easier to retain information and memorize. That's why if you are learning a second language, right? And you said South Africa, correct? Learning a second language is easier as a child, okay? It's harder to learn and even English as an adult. It's really challenging to do that. Age plays a major role in memory retention. Yes. But with these techniques, you can actually improve it. It doesn't have to keep going downhill. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Rafa, you can always reach out. We can schedule a meeting, and I know with the time difference, we'll work with that. Be sure to get your sleep after this. You said it's midnight there, right? Lord, I'm gonna be praying for you. All right, anyone else? Thank you for joining us in tonight's session. I'm really glad you all were able to attend. I will email you all everything for you to have. Please feel free to reach out. You'll see my name, my email, my contact information. Okay. Be sure to keep checking your email. The Ally Center does send additional resources and free workshops out. Okay. So check your LBC email all the time. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for staying up late or missing maybe a family dinner to join me. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Bye. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you
Bye,
very
everyone.
much.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless
Bye-bye.
you.
God
Bye.
bless. Bye.